Hey, Kpaceguy. Kpaceguy.
What, Kpaceguy?
My system's more powerful than yours. I have 200-watt speakers with my fronts. I got a 1,000-watt subwoofer. So mine's more powerful and more louder than yours, right? Right.
What? Just because you have a lot of watts doesn't mean that your system is more powerful or more louder than mine. I don't know where you got that from.
It makes sense, doesn't it? If I have more watts than you, then I have more power, I have more volume. If you're only using 50 watts of power, how can your 50 watts be more than my 200 watts? How could 300 watts be more than, say, 10 watts, right? So if I have more watts in my system, if I'm using more power, then obviously my can play louder, it sounds better, etc. So my system's better than yours. Oh well.
Kpaceguy, listen. Watts doesn't equal volume. Sensitivity does. Decibels. Let me just explain to you what watts are.
I'm listening.
There seems to be some confusion when it comes to watts. What it is, what it does. A lot of people associate watts with volume, and watts aren't really what gives you the volume. It's sensitivity. But what are watts? Watts is a rating of efficiency. Well, sensitivity is a rating of efficiency. And if you go through your spec sheet of any speaker that you have, you'll see a sensitivity rated in decibels. So for example, everybody knows the brand Klipsch. Klipsch has very efficient speakers. And how do we know this? Klipsch, at the bottom of their spec sheet on their website, just like any other manufacturer, has down at the bottom specifications, sensitivity decibel rating, 89, 95, 97, 100, what have you, this, depending on what speaker you have. The higher the decibel number, the more efficient your speakers are. The lower the number, the less efficient your speakers are. That doesn't mean the speaker is much louder or vice versa. It just means that it takes more watts to power that speaker efficiently. So for example, my Polk Audio LSI M floor sitting speakers are slightly less efficient than, say, Klipsch speakers. I think mine are rated somewhere 87, 88, 89 decibel sensitivity rating, meaning that it takes a little bit more juice to run these speakers. It's a little more power hungry than some other speakers. Klipsch has speakers that have 100 dB sensitivity rating, meaning it takes very little wattage to power those speakers. On the back of a speaker and on its spec sheet, you'll see its power handling. So it may say 200 watts, it may say 400 watts, it may say a range from 30 to 150, meaning that the speaker can operate on an amplifier that gives 30 to 150 watts. Sensitivity is how well it takes that power and turns it into acoustic energy versus heat.
Get to the point, Kpaceguy.
Okay, I'll explain it this way. So let's say you have three amplifiers. You have a 50-watt amplifier, you have a 100-watt amplifier, and you have a 200-watt amplifier. So let's say I'm starting off with amp A and I want to go to amp B. I'm thinking, okay, 50 watts, I'm going up to 100. That has to be a huge sound increase. Well, you're wrong. It's not a huge sound increase. It's only 3 decibels, which isn't a lot of volume. And how did I get that math? When you double your wattage, you're increasing your decibels by 3. So if I go from 50 watts to 100, that's 3 dB. If I go from 50 watts to 200, that's 6 dB. So in between each doubling is only a 3 decibel increase. If I'm going from a 50 watt amp to a 500 watt amp, you can do your math. So from 500 or so from 50 to 100, that's 3 dB. 100 to 200, that's 3 more dB. From 200 to 400, that's 3 more dB. And then of course your extra 100 watts, so you're going up 1.5, 2 dB after that. So you're not getting a lot of volume between 50 and 500. Although in this case, it's a substantial amount of decibels. You're going to definitely hear a 9 dB increase, which is pretty good. But don't think 50 watts and 500 watts 500 is going to blow it out of the water. It's not. So you're able to get an amplifier with less wattage as long as your speakers are efficient enough, which is where the sensitivity comes in. 100 sensitivity decibel rating on a speaker that has 30 to 300 watts power handling is okay on a 50 watt amp because that speaker is efficient with a little amount of wattage. Now again, I always like to power my speakers close to max power rating just to protect it, keep it safe. You're not gonna blow your speaker from a little bit too much power. So 300 watts, you're powering at 300 watts, it's only a 250 watt speaker, you're gonna be okay. What damages speakers the most is underpowering speakers. So it's best to make sure you're meeting power handling. So if I'm gonna have a 50 watt amp, make sure your speakers run efficiently on 50 watts, even though they're rated to max 200. It's okay. Still better to power it up as much as you can. So once more, every time you double your wattage, that is a 3 decibel increase. Every time you see a sensitivity rating on a speaker, the higher the sensitivity, the more efficient that speaker is. Sensitivity is what's going to give you your volume. If I'm using a 60 dB sensitivity speaker, I'm really going to have to find an amplifier that can really power that speaker. That's going to be so taxing on my amp, really trying to push that speaker. And sensitivity is how a speaker takes power and turns it into acoustical energy. Same thing with amps. Amplifiers like bass guitar amps, things like that, they are highly inefficient. The issue with them is that they turn most of the power into heat, not sound. So you have a 100 watt amplifier and it's at a low sensitivity rating. How much of that 100 watts is being turned into heat and how much is being turned into sound? You want a speaker that's efficient, that takes more of the power and turns it into sound. That makes sense. So what you're saying to me, Kpaceguy, is not to worry about watts so much. Watts doesn't equal volume, sensitivity rating equals volume. So I may have a 500 watt speaker, but my sensitivity rating is 85. So my speakers may be more power handling, but they're also more power hungry. It takes a lot more power to power my speakers because of sensitivity, correct? Correct. So when you're out there looking for speakers, make sure that you're looking at its spec sheet. You're usually at the bottom of the website under overview, specs, ratings, things like that. You'll find it down there. Check out that sensitivity. The lower the sensitivity level, the more power you're going to have to give it. The closer the power rating you're going to have to meet. Now, a speaker that has a higher sensitivity can run on a lower wattage amp. It's still better to power it as close to rating as you can, but you have a little bit more flexibility when you find a speaker with high efficiency. Now, high efficiency doesn't mean that it sounds better either. It just means that it plays better at 1 watt, 1 meter away. I'm not gonna get into that much. It's math. Nobody likes math except 6 of you guys in the comments. You're gonna tell me you love math. I don't like math. Most people don't want to hear the math, but there's math involved in it. But we'll keep it simple. Find a speaker that has really good sensitivity. That's how you judge volume when it comes to speakers. Sensitivity rating, how well does it take in power? How much power does it turn into acoustical energy? And how much of it is just heat? That's what you want to look for.
Okay, well, my system's still better than yours though, so whatever. Whatever you say, Kpaceguy. Anyway, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe on it. Let me know what you want to see in the future. Stay tuned for more. Press that bell to get notified. If you guys have any questions about watt sensitivity, anything technical like that, this is the channel for it. So make sure you leave a comment down below. Any questions you may have, any comments that you have are welcome as well. And I will see you in the next video. Kpaceguy out. Kpaceguy out.